Iyabo. Lagos State to prosecute Yomi Fabiyi for contempt. You can see this story on Premium Times. You can see this story on Linda Ikeji's blog. According to the version on Linda Ikeji's blog, the Lagos State Directorate of Public Prosecution has concluded plans to prosecute Nollywood actor Yomi Fabiyi for contempt of court over the production of Iyabo. Yomi, who has come out to show solidarity for Baba Jesha, released the controversial movie as the case of Baba Jesha continues in court. The movie generated a lot of backlash as those who have seen it claim it was about Princess's foster daughter. This morning, Baba Jesha's trial began in court, and strange as it were, I can't say strange, let me be careful because I'm not a lawyer or a judge, but I was surprised to see that the CCTV footage was accepted in court as evidence. While in court, the DPP, that's the Director of Public Prosecution, Counsel Olayinka Adeyemi, told the court that Yomi made a move from the fact of Baba Jesha's alleged case using the real names of the defendant and the survivor of the case. Despite the warnings of this honorable court, an actor named Yomi Fabiyi went ahead and made a movie about the facts of this case. He used the real names of the parties and witnesses in the matter in the movie. Our application is to exclude him, his privies, and his agents from proceedings in court. He is not in court at the moment, but his representatives may be in court. This is contempt of court, and we intend to prosecute him and bring him before this court, the DPP Prosecution Council told the court. The presiding judge, Oluwatoyin Taiwo, responded and said the matter will be investigated. This case is sub judice, and you are not to be making videos and disparaging comments on social media. This needs to be investigated. Let's see whether it's true, she said. However, one of the counsels of Baba Jesha, Dada Awosika, told the court that he has seen the movie and that it has no correlation with the ongoing case. According to him, the movie is about the controversy between two artists, Yomi Fabiyi and Iyabo, and they're not involved in the case. Yomi is yet to react to this development. So I just wanted to bring you up to speed with what's going on. We're talking about several things on Live and Dangerous, and make sure you catch us on Live and Dangerous. Live and Dangerous on 99.3 Nigeria Info from 10 p.m. all the way down till midnight is where you catch us live. And tomorrow we're going to be talking. You see, online perspective is different. Radio perspective is something you all need to listen to, because on the radio you have all sorts of people. Now, I want to talk about the Ebano incident with a 9-year-old girl who set fire to the Ebano store in Abuja. You see, the way we're raising our children these days is coming back to us. I think that's like a turning point for all parents. Your children are not gods. Your children, many of you raised, that's why between you and I, that's why I don't want to go abroad and raise children abroad. I don't want to raise gods. I see the way some people raise children, and I'm worried. There's nothing your child asks you for that you don't give. How can a child have that mind to go into a shop? Where the parents? They said the damage was 5 billion naira. I said, are you guys, can you guys think about this? We all need to be better parents. We all need to watch over our children more. Why am I saying this? Because look at the Baba Jesha case. Sometimes we're too hard on our children. Sometimes we're not understanding enough on our children. Our parents overdid it. Don't get me wrong, our parents overdid it. Our parents literally teleguided our lives. But you see, we're underdoing it. We're underdoing it. The Igbos and the Jews are some of the most successful races on earth because of succession plans. When an Igbo man is born, is either he's going to take his father's business to the next level, or he's going to come and be incorporated into his father's business. Same thing with the Jews. Succession. Here you see a parents that have 4 children. The dad's a doctor, the mom's a lawyer, the first child's an accountant, the second child's an economist, the third child. No succession plan whatsoever. No plans of growing wealth. You see, it's not easy to grow wealth in one generation unless you're a Zuckerberg or a Gates. But there's some families that have good ideas. All you need to do is your parents have an amazing idea, you move it to the next generation. That's how companies like Dunlop, Ferrari were built. Toyota, Honda, Ford. They are people's names. Soichiro Honda, Bruce McLaren. Enzo Ferrari. Where are all those? In Nigeria, you just raise children just, you want your children to explore themselves, and there's what you are going to do is you are building more and more people who are going to end up being rats running on treadmills. You are building more people, you are creating more people who are going to be running in the workforce. Think about it. What are the succession plans? You have children, you don't want to force them. Yeah, you don't really want to force them, but how do you incorporate them into? To just think about it. We're going to be discussing this. Someone said this is the outcome of children raised in narcissistic environments. No, me as far as I'm concerned, these are children that have too many privileges and too many pleasures, and they have their mind. We were all children. No, nobody more narcissistic than our parents. Our parents were not okay, but really that your mind will go as a 9-year-old. So you want born a banner. We need to bring up our children properly. I'm telling you, with what I saw, I'm worried for this next generation. This next generation is going to be a liability to us if we're not careful. We'll grow old, and in old age, we'll be running around after children instead of handing them over our plans, and they will hand it over to the next generation, and they will create a stream of success. We are raising children that will not inherit our legacies. Instead, they'll inherit our physical structures and our material things that they would squander. That's where we are going with this. Back to the Yomi Fabiyi story. Back to the Yomi Fabiyi story. We all need to be very careful with cases that are in court, and we all need to understand what sub judice is, especially for a case that is currently ongoing trial. We need to educate ourselves with regards to law or the laws of the land, and we need to be very careful with that. So I think Yomi went overboard making that particular movie. I think he stretched it a little too far. Like I said, until if you remember what I said from the beginning, I have no problem with Yomi defending Baba Jesha. Anybody can defend anybody they choose. We all don't have to see life from the same perspective. For you it might be 6, for me it might be 9. You understand? We don't have to see life from the same perspective. However, when he went as far as making a movie out of it, to me that was stretching it. If he hadn't done a movie, was my own. He's siding with his colleague. I might not agree with him or with his colleague, but that it's their prerogative. They have the right to believe what they want to believe or hold whatever opinions they hold. It's their prerogative. But that movie, as far as I'm concerned, was a little too far. Someone said the only succession plan in Nigeria is in politics. Absolutely. And that is even more sad. That is even more sad. I wanted to talk about this Yomi Fabiyi case, and I guess I've said it all. That's what's on my mind. Let's be careful when cases are before a judge, because you don't want them to give you a bench warrant. You don't want to go down that route. So let's be careful not to subjudice or prejudice cases. Now, with regards to the child and Ebano. Okay, someone said the only succession plans in Nigeria are in politics and in church, which is sad. About the Ebano incident, who wants to come up and speak? Do I have anyone, especially if you're a parent, a mother, a father? Do I have anyone here who wants to say something? Please. I'll be glad if you are a parent. Let's discuss. Are we going overboard? All sorts of conspiracy theories are coming up. Yeah, she was sent. Oh no. See who they sent to, if not sent. All right. I'm bringing in someone here who's going to talk to us. Yes, brother.
Good evening.
Yes, good evening. How are you doing? So what is your take on the matter? First of all, do you have kids?
I didn't get that.
Do you have kids? Children?
Not yet, but I have kids I'm taking care of.
Okay. So tell me, what is your take?
Okay. Basically, first of all, I will talk from the perspective of a psychologist, because I studied psychology in school. Yes. From the way I see things with this child, I feel like, firstly, I think the child has a mental problem to begin with. Yes, and this could have emanated as a result of probably movies and fantasies and all those kind of stuff that they see on TV. Because a lot of parents don't regulate what their children watch. Because no child will just wake up one day and say, I'm taking lighter to go burn a store, if it wasn't planned in the first place, which I'm going to rule out. So I'm just going to talk about the child mental state and what the parents have been able to do with that child throughout its hard developmental stage from birth to now. So what I think basically is, my own take is, the child has seen a lot of movies, or probably has this kind of weird fantasy about things like this, because to be an arsonist, it takes beyond the ordinary to think about that kind of thing. So that child must have been nurturing that thing in mind. And like I said, the parents have not been regulating what that child has been digesting mentally, because we are a product of what we consume in our mental state. And for me, I think that child should undergo some mental evaluation first to begin with. Then, secondly, I'm wondering, why is that child in that store? Is there no parent or guardian? Because as a 9-year-old, even though I was in GS1 as a 9-year-old, I still had my parents take me to school. As a 9-year-old in GS1, I was in secondary school, but I had my mom take me to school. My mom knew everywhere I was. So a child at that point, at that store, at that time, with lighter, it makes no sense to me. Something is wrong, So if that child is in a good mental state, let's begin to question why she's there, who sent her there, how did she get the idea in her mind to do that kind of a thing. And you need to see the way she worked out. It's funny. One would want to say she's mentally maladjusted. That's the word to use. So, but as a parent, I have 2 nieces and 2 nephews that from time to time I look after. Well, there are times you sit in maybe you sitting room, probably you're doing a report or you're working, and then you turn left, turn right, you'll not see that child, and be like, where's this child? For a minute at least, or 2 or 5, you could be out of, that consciousness of that child. But the moment you think about that child, you're looking for that child. So if you have a child that is 9, the girl child for that matter, you know how we take girl children serious in Nigeria? You would want to know where she is. So
there's obviously a parental error. Do you agree with me?
Nothing like spiritual here.
Do you agree with me that there's obviously a parental error in regards to that child?
Of course there is. Of course, a huge one. Because like I said, what have you been feeding that child mentally? I don't like to talk about spiritual things, because I believe that, okay, even though I'm a Christian, and I believe that the physical is controlled by the spiritual, but I also believe that we have a duty as guardians, because I see parents as custodians. We really don't own children. It's God that owns children. And I feel like as a custodian, if you are a CEO, because there's some CEOs who do not own companies, like the company I work for, the CEO does not own the company. If you're a CEO, you're a custodian at that point of whatever is happening in that company, which means you owe the board of directors an explanation to what goes down to the least person in that company. So if there is one hazard somewhere, the report ought to get to you, for you to be able to explain to the board of directors and say, okay, this is what happened here, this is why this thing happened. So as a custodian, we owe our children that duty to be able to nurture them to the point where they become morally sound, mentally sound, and even educationally sound. So I've been wondering, what is that child? Where was her parents? Why was she there alone? There is a big error on the part of the parents. But I heard some people say the parents don't owe anybody jack. The law is the law. The child is a minor. What we have to be looking at now is, I just hope Ebano has insurance. Like I said to my friend earlier, I hope they have insurance, and I hope it's comprehensive, because that's a lot of damage. But the parents don't owe anyone anything. But they also have to do their duties.
Now, in some countries, the parents would go to jail. In some countries.
Okay, but I don't think in Nigeria.
I don't know what the Nigerian law is. Do we have any lawyers here? Do we have any lawyers in the house? Maybe that would help.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Like I was reading a book on rules of parenting by Richard Templar. I don't know if you know that writer.
Yes.
So one of the things I said to my friend in the course of the weekend, I said something to her. I said, I always ask people why they have children. A lot of people are parents because they give birth to children, but they're not parents because they have come to the responsibility of taking and nurturing that child. So one of the problems I have personally is that we keep blaming society for whatever happens, but we fail to understand that the family is the unit of the society. And whatever product comes from the family is what the society becomes. So I fear as an individual that I'm going to have a child that comes to the society, and I have to train that child, I have to nurture that child, and I have to retrain that child every time, because every time that child goes to society, he or she picks something from that society. See, behaviors are learned consciously and unconsciously. And behaviors, for you to be able to alter or change some kind of behaviors, people have to unlearn and learn new things. So every time a child goes to the society, I fear that I would have to retrain that child. So I used to beg people, I say, don't have children you cannot take care of, because you won't know that you're putting burden on other people who are trying to.
Yes. The parents now put the burden on Eban of 5 billion naira in today's economy.
That is really crazy. I can't just imagine. Truly, I can imagine right now, like, that was my child.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All of that, everybody saying this caller is very intelligent. Thank you very much for your perspective. We have someone else. Hello, please introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Fumi.
Hi Fumi, how are you doing?
I'm fine, Daddy Fizz. Thank you for bringing me in.
You're welcome. I know you have kids from the last conversation we had. So tell me what your perspective is on this.
Right, okay. I'm just gonna buttress what the gentleman that went out just now said about whatever we instill on our kids is what the society is gonna be like. It's just simple as that. I think, like he said, it's probably the child has been exposed to things that she's not even supposed to be seeing at that age. And the result of it is her trying to experiment. It's possible that, and also it's also possible that, like he said, this child could be suffering for some sort of mental health issues that the parents are not even aware of. It could be something that has happened, a trauma that she's experienced in the home, that she's now trying to, bring out the frustration on whatever, what she's done actually. So obviously, like he said, if we as parents do not know what we allow our kids to get exposed to, or if we are not aware of the things that we do in the presence of our kids, probably even the parents could have been experimenting with things that she has witnessed, and then she's now thinking, okay, I want to try this out as well, and look at what the effect of this is on someone now. It's something that we need to be really, really aware of. Like this part of the world, like I said, I'm in the UK. It's very difficult, like I put in my comment, like some of the things that are here in terms of the government, there are laws that prevents us from actually bringing up our kids the way our parents, even though it was a bit hard at our parents on us, but there are things that we also would have loved to also do with our kids here that we cannot. I've got teenage kids that at this point in time, there are things that I would like to, instill in them from my culture, but it's not allowed here. But I'm just surprised that over in Nigeria, that I don't know how this has happened, but like he said, we as parents need to start taking responsibility. And I feel so sorry for this poor child, because we need to actually sit down and see where the perspective of this child is coming from. Why did she do this? So the parents should be responsible, really. And that's why they said, if you let your child, just like you said something in Yoruba that Yeah, exactly. So, it's very, I don't know what they're going to do to that child, but I don't think that child should have to be responsible for the consequences of what has happened, because the parents, why did you bring this child into this world and you're going to just let a child wander off and go and set a place on fire? That's my own view on it. I feel that the parents should be responsible. I think they should investigate more on the parents and see how this child has become what she's become and done what she's done.
Absolutely. Very well said. Very well said. Thank you so much, Fumi.
Thank you.
And thank you,
Thank you
all
very
of you,
much.
for joining me tonight. It was just supposed to be a quick session. Thank you. We'll be doing sessions like these from time to time when we're not preaching the Bible and discussing the Word of God. We also have to discuss
Yes.
about issues that relate to us living our lives. We have to be careful. We live in these
Yes.
carnal bodies, and we live among other human beings. And someone made a comment, said, you raise your child well, but your child goes outside to meet other children who are not raised well. So it's like parenting is a refresher course
It comes
every
down to
day.
both of the parents,
Your
isn't it?
child goes out for 2 hours, comes back, you have to refresh their brain, because they are
Yes.
going outside to learn things from children whose parents did not have the time to sit down and properly raise them. Thank you, Fumi. And awesome. The other caller, the psychologist, was awesome. Awesome stuff. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank
Take
you,
care.
Thank you. Good
Take care,
night.
all of you. See you tomorrow. Bye, guys.